I want to thank everybody for coming. I've had the privilege to share my dinner with the Bachmans, Dr. Al Mohler, Governor Bevin, and David Platt. I don't know whether to buy a car, go to seminary, go on foreign mission trip, or file a lawsuit against the Attorney General and dissolve my board. Thankfully, none of those things are on my agenda tonight. I'm here to share with you that A Woman's Choice and Nicole's Place are in the transformation business, and to thank those of you who have joined in that mission and to invite the rest of you to join in. Transformation implies a passage of time, beginning and an end, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. Maybe waking up one day and not being pregnant, but being pregnant the next, or in some cases being pregnant one day and not the next, either because you've given birth or had an abortion. It may mean waking up condemned and going to bed redeemed. And sometimes true transformation takes time. Sometimes it takes years, sometimes decades. Our transformation has spanned more than 28 years, and from the days when Don Gilmore sat around his kitchen table with a group of friends trying to figure out how to reach women in crisis and make abortion unthinkable to this very day, A Woman's Choice has never quite been satisfied with what we've been doing. And look how far we've come. First, it was 2 ministries, 2 separate pregnancy centers that merged. And back in those days, it was pregnancy tests and the gospel and not a lot of training. And then it was an ultrasound machine at a doctor's office where a pro-life assistant would welcome in volunteers who had dragged a woman who was abortion-minded to that office for the first look at her baby on the ultrasound screen. And then it was our own 2D machine and locating next to an abortion clinic. And then moving next to the current abortion clinic and our first 3D, 4D ultrasound machine. And then in 2006, opening Nicole's Place, because we know for the women that we serve, pregnancy was just a symptom of a lostness that needed more than triage. And then starting our campus outreach in 2009, and in 2010, opening a satellite office next to Louisville's remaining abortion clinic. And next year, we're poised for a bigger transformation, locating both sides of our ministry under one roof. We know strategically being next to EMW, the abortion clinic on Market Street, is important to reaching women who are headed into have an abortion or who change their mind and come out. And it's also important to be there to partner with sidewalk counselors and people sharing the gospel and praying, like Speak for the Unborn, Sisters for Life, and 40 Days for Life. And we also know that real transformation and real change happens with discipleship, and that means connecting women to Nicole's Place, which is about 10 blocks away, and right now only attracts about 10% of our pregnancy center clients. Last year at our banquet, I was able to share with you the miracle of receiving a $500,000 challenge grant to acquire and eventually renovate a new building, the former home of the American Cancer Society. I'm happy to report that with that challenge grant and everyone who stepped up to the challenge, that we were able to close on this building debt-free in January of this year. Since that time, we've been working on conceptual design of the floor plans, mostly with the design team at Prodigy Construction. And on your way out tonight, you can see on a couple of easels in the back what those floor plans have come to at this point. But thinking through the space use is not all we've been up to. We decided that without proper planning and a faith-drenched vision, that this building wouldn't mean anything more than moving the ministry, not growing the ministry, and grow we must. What we did not realize when we had this building under contract last year was that Planned Parenthood of Indiana and Kentucky would open up their new building 4 blocks away and start offering abortions without a license, which thankfully our governor took them to task over. And I don't know your thoughts, Governor, but I think probably we're only a federal lawsuit away from Planned Parenthood offering abortions there again, in spite of your best efforts. And I know you will try really hard to keep that from happening. And if that's the case, then we will be fighting this battle on two fronts. We will be located next to EMW on Market Street, and we will be 4 blocks away from Planned Parenthood. And if we are fighting the battle on two fronts, then we need to be equipped, and equipped means more than just a building. It means far more sophisticated marketing to a millennial generation that grew up with their own ultrasounds on the refrigerator. It means expanding our medical services to include STD testing and treatment, because every time somebody comes in for treatment or information or counseling, they're going to hear the truth of the gospel and have their sexual health decisions questioned and encouraged to choose life and to live in purity. It means growing every life skill and discipleship offering we have so that we can serve more women and children, and even more meals being served. We expect that removing the distance between the pregnancy center and Nicole's place, and getting rid of the name confusion even by having both sides of the ministry under one roof, will probably more than double the women that take advantage of our life skills and discipleship offerings within the first year. And in the recent months and in the months ahead, we're going to look into developing a partnership with the hospitality industry to develop a 6-week certificate program to launch women into stable employment in one of the growing sectors of the local economy, which will not just prepare them for work in tourism in the hospitality industry, but also hopefully senior care and health care as well. This is all part of our Building for Life campaign. As you can see, we're not just about renovating the building, we're about renovating lives. We want to build our capacity to reach more women, impact more families, to save more babies, to share the gospel more, and to do what we're celebrating tonight, which is transformation. Transformation for babies and mothers, from death to abundant life, and transformation for this ministry to reach and grow beyond what we could have ever imagined 28 years ago. For some of our clients, what transformed them years ago was meant for evil, but we get to see the good, and that's never more true than our post-abortion outreach. Some of you have seen this video before, but we've got a lot of newcomers tonight, and we thought, given the theme of transformation, that it was worth seeing again.
I found myself in a crisis pregnancy. Immediately began to wonder how I could fix this.
It wasn't even something that I think I thought very long and hard about. I just wanted to make sure that problem went away quickly.
Talked to other people around me about it, except for my parents. And they were like, yes, you're too young to have a baby, you need to have an abortion.
But knowing I would never have an abortion, that was something that I always said was off the table, would never happen. And then I got pregnant, and that became an option.
And I was taken to a hospital in a small town in Mississippi, and they performed the DNC. My mother told me on the way home that I was not to speak of it ever in my lifetime.
I don't know, one day it just clicked, and that seemed like that was the only way out for me.
He was not as pleased that time in my life, didn't know how much it would impact me, but I thought it was the only solution at the time.
And now we're pregnant, we're just gonna abort the baby, and that will solve the problem. It's like you are adding more problems, actually.
I guess I had that look on my face. She leaned over and she said, everything's fine. No one's gonna have to know. Your life will be better now, and you can start over. And then I got dressed and left and drove home.
I found an abortion doctor who was more than willing to take my money, and once it was done, and I was told never to show up again, and I swore I never would.
I lied a lot. I felt like I'm disconnected from God because I was lying. It was a dark time of my life.
It didn't take long. It took a couple of weeks before it kind of set in as to what I had done. And immediately just was in this place of depression and anxiety.
I don't remember anything about the actual procedure or anything. That was my coping mechanism at the time, was to stuff that as far down as possible and to just move on and try to forget that it ever happened.
I started becoming pretty reclusive. I would just cry at the drop of a hat.
From my freshman year to my senior year was horrific in my life.
I didn't really realize how much it impacted me in my relationships with other people, how I had no trust for people because my trust was taken away when that child was taken away from me.
There were times before I found a woman's choice that it was so hard to get out of bed and it was so hard to stop crying.
I know there were times when I was depressed for what I thought was for no reason.
I got into drinking a whole lot, got into heavier drugs to try and get rid of the pain, but didn't really realize the pain I was trying to get rid of. I blocked it. I just buried it so deep.
I think it affected our relationship, me and him, a lot, this situation. I felt he didn't protect me. He didn't take care of me the way he should.
I always felt left out of things. I always felt like I never fit in, like I was never really loved.
It was rocky from start to finish. There was depression on my side that I never ever linked to the abortion. It ended up in a divorce, and the divorce hurt our kids and all of that I never thought had anything to do with the abortion.
And I just kind of figured that it was kind of over for me as far as God and all of that went. So I kind of crept away a lot. I'm not going to say a little, I crept away a lot.
And it was years before I really found out what was going on and why I did the things that I did.
You know, going to school, going to work, putting a smile on my face, acting happy, but still inside just being completely broken. But there was a sermon about forgiveness and baptism had come up, and they talked about a woman's choice.
I just had a friend that wanted to come and volunteer, and I kept trying to put her off and say, no, I can't go and volunteer. I had an abortion a long time ago. And she just said, well, look what you can do. Maybe you can help somebody else. And I thought, oh my gosh.
But as I was looking through the forms, it asked that question, have you had an abortion? And when I saw that question, I was really taken aback and I was fearful.
In my heart, I thought, there's no way they can take away this pain. No way.
I was told I had to do this post-abortive counseling, and I'm going, it's been a long, long time.
She told me that I would have to go to a post-abortion Bible study. I said, okay, no problem. I didn't think nothing of it. And there came a point when we had to get really real in the room that weekend. I said, no one can ever know because not only am I post-abortive, but I'm a pastor's wife. And that moment, when I had to say those words, terrified me.
Little did I know that the book, Forgiven and Set Free, would help me forgive myself.
I remember for the first time, that's when I really felt loved on in this situation, and thought, okay, maybe this is a safe place.
I thought to myself, you know, this class is going to be a breeze. It's been years since, you know, I've had this abortion. And, but I'm telling you, God knows what He's doing.
It shows you what you did and what God thought of it. But then it comes out and it tells you that God still loves you and that He still cares for you. I thought, well, that's not going to happen with me. I didn't think it could, but it did.
I had no idea how much I needed it. The part of the things that I hadn't dealt with was forgiving myself. And I didn't understand that.
And I'm so glad I did it because it was the biggest healing experience that I've had since the abortion.
Jesus Christ died on the cross to save me. And by me not forgiving myself, I was not allowing the purpose of his life to flow through my life. So with all the love he has shown for me, I had to show that same love and forgiveness to myself.
I just remember, being loved on by the other women in the room, and that was one of the first times I really kind of felt God's grace and how he could provide for us in these terrible situations that you don't expect anything good to come out of.
But because of Christ, I'm redeemed and I've been sanctified. And I know that one day I will actually see my children again.
I believe wholeheartedly that if Jesus Christ were to walk through that door, he would say the exact same things that those women said to me, that he does forgive me and that I'm worthy and that I'll hold my child again in heaven someday. But if it hadn't been for them, I don't think I ever would have gotten there.
That's the best part of this whole story, is that without a woman's choice, I'd probably still be carrying that awful, awful guilt. And I don't have to anymore.
So you can see we're kind of serious about the gospel and transformation. And for Necole Johnson, the transformation began a little over 25 years ago. When she came to a woman's choice, pregnant and ashamed, she looked down, she wouldn't look anybody in the eye, and I think her counseling team would have called her broken and pitiful. I know she doesn't look very pitiful in that picture. Necole chose life and an open adoption plan for her daughter, Kayla. But more interestingly, she never lost touch with her counselors from a woman's choice. They really did walk alongside her. In fact, Martha Michaels and Becky Edmondson saw Necole place Kayla for adoption, saw her get her degree, and saw her love the Lord, but they didn't see her flourish past the age of 32. After her time in Louisville, Necole moved to Tennessee, but tragically lupus compromised her health and her kidneys failed. She died in 2004 when her daughter Kayla was around 12. But before she passed away, Necole told Martha and Becky when they visited her in the hospital in Tennessee that the thing that she was proudest of was giving Kayla life and placing her for adoption. The transformation seen in Necole over those 12 years by Martha and Becky and the others at AWC back then was something that this ministry wants to see for all of our clients. So when our Life Skills and Discipleship Ministry was opened at the corner of Chestnut and Clay 10 years ago, Martha suggested that it be named for Necole. So that's the explanation of who Necole is and why it's called Necole's Place. Tonight we celebrate 10 years of ministry there, only possible by thousands of supporters who helped us open the door, many of you here tonight. We had hoped that Kayla would be able to join us tonight, but she's young and she works and she couldn't get off from work and travel from Tennessee. But she has written a thank you, a letter of gratitude in your program. So if you have a chance, take a look at the third page. Those are Kayla's own words. We hope that you read it and, contemplate the fact that your support of this ministry over the last many, many years saved her life and thousands like her. Women like Necole are often adrift. They don't have any support. They don't have any family. Their circle of influencers are not equipped to equip them, and they seldom experience the unconditional love of Christ anywhere but the pregnancy center. And as much as we hate to admit it, 1 or 2 visits at the pregnancy center in the midst of a crisis is not always enough for God to grasp a baby and a mother from the clutches of the enemy. But this community, this ministry, and many of you, about 11 years ago, decided that pro-life pregnancy care could be done differently. Necole's Place was born out of a belief that really ministering to and discipling women who had abortions or who chose life in the midst of a crisis could be done better. It demands way more than just a pregnancy test and an ultrasound. it really is the truest meaning of pro-life. Jesus Christ came to bring fullness of life, emotional, moral, intellectual, eternal life. And we are not fulfilling our call to be pro-life if we stop at an ultrasound and a pregnancy test and a decision for birth. And I could list for you all the classes and the counseling and everything that we offer our clients at Nicole's Place, but their hearts speak to what we do far better than I could ever share with you. So let's hear from them.
But it's a place to come because you need to be healed.
Not only do they help you during the pregnancy, but they also help you after.
If I had one word for Nicole's Place, it'll be positivity.
It's everything that helps us breathe.
I see a really good future. I see my 2 beautiful children growing up happy. I see me finally accomplishing everything that I've ever wanted in life.
I keep coming because I'm wanting to get my GED so that my daughter can look up to me and see that you can do whatever you can if you push yourself.
It's helped me out a lot. It helped me get back into church.
Nicole's Place to me is a blanket. You know, she'd always give me a blanket, like I would just go in one of the rooms and lay on the floor to sleep because I was so tired. She would simply bring a blanket and cover me up and let me sleep.
Hi, my name is Allison. I've been coming to Nicole's Place for about 1.5 years now. I love the fact that they didn't care how much money I made or what my position in life was. They just wanted to help me and my son have the best start in life. They didn't care what I had or what I didn't have. They just wanted to make sure that William was happy and we were both healthy, and I just gained emotional support from them, and I really needed that at the time when I was going through the pregnancy and immediate after birth, and for the last 9 months, everybody's been really great.
My name is April, and I've been going to Nicole's Place for about 3 years. I was pretty much in a state of despair. I was homeless, you know, sleeping on somebody's floor. I didn't have a job, no money. I was angry. You know, I wasn't one that you just knew who was angry, but I was angry on the inside. I was mad at myself. I was mad at everybody around me. It just felt like I was just abandoned, you know, by everybody, by God. You know, I think even at that point, I'm not even sure how much I was even believing or trusting in God.
Hello, my name is Jean Yarbrough. I've been going to Nicole's Place for about 4 to 5 years. The same week that I was gonna have my abortion is the same week I got a call from Nicole's Place asking me how I was doing on my process with getting the car. And they told me that they had a blessing for me, that somebody donated a car and they anonymously picked me as the person to get the car. And I felt like that was a sign to let me know that I need to keep the baby, rather if I was gonna keep him or give him up for adoption. But the one thing I didn't need to do was kill him.
Hi, my name is Keisha, and I've been coming to Nicole's Place off and on for 1 year. When I first got pregnant with my son, I hate to admit this, I was actually thinking about abortion because I already had a baby and it was already tough enough. And I ended up calling them, and it was like their non-abortion clinic, and they asked me if I wanted to come in and speak with someone, and I did. They ended up giving me diapers for him, her, clothes. Then when my mom got sick, I started getting more and more lost. When I came to Nicole's Place, they started reading the Bible to me and talking with me about God, and it made me really want to know more about Him. So I found a real good church home, and we try to make it every Sunday.
Hello, my name is Kinshasta, and I've been coming to Nicole's Place since fall of 2008. There are a lot of good people there that are praying for you, that are there to help you through your challenges. And I just know that I have someone behind me. I have someone praying for me. I have that extra support that I need. Because life is challenging, but there are ways to get over those obstacles. It gave me an opportunity to actually delve into the Bible and actually get my own understanding and just build my relationship with God.
I felt myself in a place to where I was starting to neglect my children. I didn't want to do nothing but cry and mourn, and that's one thing that I enjoy most about Nicole's Place is because we support each other and we're there for each other.
That's what Nicole's Place is to me. It's that blanket, that security, that covering from all the chaos and all the madness that goes on in this world, all the pain and the anger that we feel through our circumstances, that urge to want to give up. Nicole's Place is that drive to keep going, to keep pushing. It's that you can make it. You're not alone. So it's everything that God is. It's everything that the Word of God is.
Nicole's Place is really, really special to me because they take the time and the energy to help mothers and children after birth and after the hard part of having a newborn. And for me, they were there to support me even when I just needed to call up and talk to somebody for 10 or 15 minutes.
It's something about when you go into Nicole's Place, it's just a serene feeling. It's just like a peaceful place. I can't really explain it, but it's like when you walk through the doors, especially if you've had a hectic day and you've been out and you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, you just get this peace when you come through the door, and just the love that you get, that you just feel, the love. You can just tell the people out there love you and care about what you're doing.
Nicole's Place was never there. I think Keisha would be without her son. Probably really torn up about it, depressed. And I'm scared to even think about where I would be if Nicole's Place wasn't there.
If Nicole's Place didn't exist, I'd probably be in a crazy home. Honestly, because the support that I get from Nicole's Place is irreplaceable.
So if Nicole's Place wasn't there, where would April be today?
I don't know. You know what? That's not a thought I like to have. Because of them. I have a beautiful little girl. She's 2 years old and she is absolutely amazing. And God blessed me with a husband, another little girl, a complete family, just by being able to go to Nicole's Place and find out who he is. So, was it making it? When I got there, I was barely making it. I had legs strong enough to walk. That was about it. And everything else was just the strength of God getting me through.
Unconditional love, connecting to God and to church and understanding Him more. And that's why we do what we do. And we couldn't do any of this. We couldn't reach those women or see their children born without your help. So we're in the midst of our Building for Life campaign, a comprehensive campaign to raise $7.6 million over 4 years. So please don't fall out of your chair, because we're partway there. We start our counting with that challenge grant from the beginning of 2015, and since that date, we've raised almost $2.9 million. So that includes the building acquisition funds, some of the renovation money, plus what we've raised for operations this year. And this lovely little graphic, cute babies. It beats a thermometer or a little speedometer needle. 10 babies that represent 7.6 million. And the color, the ones that are full color are what we've raised so far. And the gray babies are the ones that we need to fund. So we invited you here to thank those who are already all in on the campaign, and to invite the rest of you to join us as builders for life and ministers of the gospel through this ministry. When Governor Bevin takes the stage later, he'll be asking you to take out your pledge card and think about a gift, and hopefully not just a one-time gift, but possibly a multi-year gift. I don't usually talk about specific financial goals when I take the stage at the banquet. This is new territory for me. But for us to reach the halfway mark of our campaign, which is our goal, we need to reach the 3.8 million mark, and that's, you're going to fall out again, 900,000, a little more than 900,000, 913. Yeah, we've done that once before at one banquet. But it sounds impossible, but we serve a God that deals in the impossible, and the good thing is I'm not talking about 913 tonight when I walk out the door. I want you to think long term. We have about 680 people here, and not all 680 will give. There's families, there's people who give time and talent, and they're irreplaceable to this ministry. Some people just can't afford to give, or they're giving to other charities. I understand that. But if we narrow down that number from 680 to about 350 and divide our total by, 913 by 350, by 4 years, by 12 months, that actually works out to about $55 a month, which seems a lot more doable than $913,000 in one night. Some of you already give at that level or even higher, and some of you can afford miraculous level gifts, and we love those. We're in the miracle business. I mean, come on, we're saving lives every day. So I would just ask that you pray and think about what you can do, because we're not just renovating a building, we're renovating lives. And we can do it if everybody stretches and joins in this fight for life. Wouldn't it be exhilarating to get an invitation to next year's event and find out that I'm not going to ask you for money, we're just going to celebrate miracles and lives saved? I would like that too. What if we had an army of pro-life believers that were giving on a regular basis, not just to move the ministry, but to grow and sustain the ministry? What a testimony would that be? We want every year to be a celebration of the amazing things that you are doing through this ministry for the glory of God. Think of these women, the ones that have been forgiven and set free, and the ones that are growing closer to God every day that they're at Nicole's place. We can more than double, maybe even triple the number of women that connect to the discipleship side of the ministry. That's more Keishas and Kinshastas and Aprils and Jeans who trust and know the Lord and whose babies are saved from the grip of death. Wouldn't it be worth it to know that's what your impact is? Thank you, and thank you for being here tonight.